Welcome, everybody, to this new episode of Fargonauts. We're the broichiest boys of Fargonauts, and we're continuing our dive into Twin Peaks. I'd first off like to thank everybody for watching the content we've been making around Twin Peaks. We very appreciate it. We see all the new people subscribing and everything like that, so definitely hang out with us. Watch us dive into each of these episodes, and we appreciate...
Join in on the conversation.
Yeah, join in the conversation. If you have something to say about each episode, put it in the comments, and we'll probably address it in a future video. So definitely do that, and we'd love to engage with this audience, because like-minded people that enjoy Twin Peaks, I'm always down to speculate and just discuss. So thank everybody for that, and this next episode we're diving into is called Zen, or the Skill to Catch a Killer. So this is a very interesting, I think we've talked about it a little bit. It's more of Cooper's method, I would say, of how he approaches the mystery, or his process of all the culprits and all the people that are related to the case. He tries to kind of consolidate into one thought or idea and rule out things, and it gets really interesting and kind of ethereal, and it's super interesting, and it's very unique. It's a unique process from like a Sherlock Holmes, like a typical detective process, like the very analytical Sherlock Holmes. Like this is more like a guessing game he's playing, or like an actual game he's playing with himself and the people around him. Like, all right, let's throw rocks. let's eliminate people by throwing rocks at a bottle. Like it's just interesting. So we'll discuss it when we come back, and all the different trivia tidbits if we come up with any. And yeah, enjoy this episode.
Brown River.
Brown River.
It is.
There was a song I was listening to that had that same kind of like bow. I think it was like Take My Breath Away, and I was like, I couldn't help but going brown, 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 brown.
So welcome to the life of me and Eric, where we just do that. Like, I'm speaking at least for myself. Like, I find myself a lot of times singing the tune to songs just by saying, like I said, like sometimes you just say gang, 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 and other times it's brown, 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 brown,
brown, brown, brown, brown, brown.
How do we feel about this wordless dinner engagement here?
I like how it's starting. It's like it's getting the titles out of the way. That's kind of nice.
Oh shit! We're about to see some fucking baguettes.
Oh yeah. He's like, yo, your bros showed up. What's up, homie?
It's like they started rolling the camera and they hadn't called action until he entered the door.
This dude is pretty sick. I like this guy.
Oh, he's amazing.
There we go.
That sounds terrifying.
We did it. Well, that was episode 3. Zen, or the Skill to Catch a Killer. It had a lot to do with Zen and a meditative state, I would say. The process that Cooper featured was him definitely... I don't know if people were connecting with it or if they understood exactly, but they all went along with this game of, all right, throw some rocks, right? They got together in the woods. They brought a chalkboard and some donuts and coffee, and they all set a mission to just chuck rocks at everybody that had a J in their name, or like there's a J in part of their name. Which was kind of interesting, because I'm sure at the time the audience that was watching this maybe made that connection of like, there's a lot of people in this show that are named Jay or have a J in their name. And they're, like maybe they're being detectives along with the show. Because I can see that being a thing. Like, let's all solve this crime as a community.
Yeah. Well, they give you plenty to work with stuff like the bloody shirt at Leo's, or like the stuff that Bobby and Mike are doing.
Yeah, and I think that this is a good scene to kind of put those puzzle pieces together that maybe the audience was putting together themselves, but in a unique way that I think kind of helped it, because it's such a crucial point in this series for Dale, for his character and his process and his method. And he had to give them the brief explanation about the Dalai Lama and Tibet, and everybody's like, okay, I got it. And what this means for like the rest of the show, because the beings are from another place, or those people made their debut in this episode too, like the tiny dancing man. I don't know his name. What is it? Does he have a name?
He's called the man from another place, or the arm.
Yeah. Okay, but then
the arm's the later one, right? One from the return.
It's kind of interchangeable. I think they might use that terminology in Firewalk with Me as well. I'm not sure, but yeah.
What did you guys think about this?
In this episode, he was credited as a man from another place.
Man from the other place, yeah.
What did you think about this sequence? And I guess something that connected with you this episode, I would say, because this one stands out for me as like the one I think about the most.
Really? From this episode?
This episode and this weird process of Cooper's just to.
I think Cooper's whole bottle thing was probably my favorite part. Because the rest is decently kind of slow burny. You know what I mean? Well, it's not in a bad way.
It starts off slow burny with the baguette scene. Like that was a very slow, and
yeah, it just seems like most of the things outside of
innocuous.
The Dale, yeah, and then the end there were kind of innocuous, kind of just there. Not bad, they were great, but just outside of that, the Dale bits, not a lot personally for me to glom onto, I guess. But I enjoyed it quite immensely. Don't get me wrong. I don't want that to sound like a negative.
I like that the first two episodes we get to meet the character of Dale and see how he like treats people, and a little bit we get peeks into his like general outlook on life.
Yeah.
So we get to spend time meeting the man, and then this episode they start to show us the agent, because especially with what we learn about him and other FBI stuff later, like him being part of the Blue Rose Task Force. I can imagine that like Philip Jeffries and Gordon Cole and other people also maybe have their own like they all kind of are like, you know, on an alternative current from everybody else, but that's why they work well together, and it's like a proto X-Files. They investigate the weird cases, and I can imagine Gordon Cole probably had some nurturing of Dale, where he was like, when he's talking in The Return, when he's like, you know what this is, Tammy? That's your spiritual mound. So,
I think Tammy's probably like another surrogate Dale for Lynch's character. Like she was trying to maybe replace him because, you know, Dale was trapped forever or whatever. He was just gone. So yeah, he needed to fill that void with Tammy, or, you know, try to find a like-minded person maybe.
Yeah, she was kind of like the audience surrogate in more than one way. Like she was like, okay, I'm here on this adventure and I'm having I'm involved and I'm active, but I'm also having things explained to me just like the audience is. And then secondly, she was kind of like, because obviously like we learn more about her, that she started working under Cole and kind of like filled, I don't want to say like Dale's position, but like an empty slot on the Blue Rose Task Force. So she was like the audience where us as the audience are like, man, I wish I could be like Dale. I wish I could have a positive outlook or this like a quirky, original method to things that is effective. And she's kind of like the same thing in a way. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
That's getting off topic from this episode.
No, but I do like it. It shows that how he's very optimistic, Dale, when Albert shows up, and we get Albert and his more straight laced depiction of like an actual bureau agent. You know, like I'm no nonsense. I'm here to get shit done and get out. Right.
Yeah, you made a good observation where like Albert is being super curt with everybody, and Dale's just got the biggest grin on his face.
Right. He's just like, "Hi, Albert."
He's like half excited to see his friend, but also like, okay, I recognize that if this person is active on this, I can be very, very confident in the like evidence that they're going to get and their process, and it's different than mine. But I don't know.
No, and it shows how big of an optimist, you know, Dale is in relation to the Bureau and how different he is. Because, I mean, Albert rolled up with two other homeboys. Dale shows up by himself with a recorder that he sends, you know, to Diane, you know, or whatever else. Is like he just has Diane with him in a weird way, but he doesn't got a posse like Albert does. He's like, I got my homeboys with their sunglasses on and their earpieces in. They got to look legit so I can intimidate this town and make them do what I say. Where Dale's like, I'm gonna go hang out at the diner and get some coffee and tell everybody great compliments.
But that's like part of the, I would say, in my very open interpretation, I think that's part of like the overall theme of this show is like Albert comes in, like you said, with his own team. They are like deployed at the same time. Dale comes in alone, and he builds his posse in the town of Twin Peaks, not by like, oh, I'm going to specifically recruit you because of your skills into this investigation. It's like, oh, hey, we're just becoming friends by eating pie together and hanging out, and he creates more and more connections with people that help strengthen. And it's like, you know, good versus evil. How do we win against the darkness in the woods of Twin Peaks? Oh, just by being a nice, friendly town to each other.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Anything else you want to say about this episode? Anything else that connected with you guys? Do you know any trivia?
A lot of vibes this episode. This episode had a lot of vibes to it. You know what I'm saying?
I
the
agree.
Music and the scene. A lot of. I mean, the show's already just vibe city, but like this one, each scene kind of had some fun vibes to it.
The thing that sticks out to me about this episode is the ending sequence with the dream, because it just like fully kicks things into gear. You know, like we've been on the investigation. We know that we're here for like, maybe as the audience, like we're here for two reasons. We're here for the mystery and the town. Like you get to know the people in the town, you like it, and then all of a sudden they throw this whole third other thing in there, and you're like, what the fuck is happening? It is to me like an opening of the floodgates for everything else that comes in the rest of season 1, season 2, the return, all the weirdest shit. It starts here, you know.
Right.
Yeah, I have nothing really else to add. I'm excited to keep diving into this, and yeah, hope you guys are enjoying. Definitely leave comments on your theories and other things like that, your initial reaction to this episode if you have one, and we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And that's it. Good night.
Good night.
Go have a sway like Audrey. Yeah. Go have a little dance.
Go dance.
Yeah.
Boom, 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 boom.